Hello again folks, and welcome back to another video. Just put the old spectacles on. Now, what we got here is a little Ferguson. I don't know what the model number is, but it's a little Ferguson transistor radio from the 1960s. I think it's powered by a PP6. I've never seen a PP6, but it has the same battery connector as a PP3, so we can safely power that on a PP3 with no problem. Anyway, let's zoom in a little bit and give you a good look at this little radio. I wish I had remote control for this camera. There we go. Right, as you can see, it's a rather battered example, but I reckon it could be restored this quite well. I reckon this would come up quite nice actually. You got your AM and your off, medium wave and long wave and volume control on the top. I reckon this could be restored actually. I might even do a video on restoring this little tranny. See what we can do with it. And the press studs are still there, but only one of them seems to work. But I reckon we can sort that. And you know, we've not had the circuit board out of this yet. And I bought this. I actually bought this for £1. Actually, I didn't. I bought it for 50 pence. See, that one doesn't lock in. I bought them for 50 pence because I got two for £1 at the last swap meet I went to. We'll have to look at sorting that press stud out. That one there works. We'll have to look at sorting that other one out and polishing all the metal work up when I find my brasso, and see about restoring this little fella, because I think it's worth. That button there's got a crack in it. Just noticed that, but I'm not bothered about that. I mean, this is an old radio. It's from the 60s, and I reckon it will make a nice restoration because it is all in. Generally, it's all in one piece and it's clean. And now, and I do believe this works. So let's put the battery on it, and the battery just fits neatly in there, as you know. It's right. Turn the volume down. We don't want it coming on full blast. Let's press medium wave. Now that interference comes from my camera. So I'll turn the camera charger off for a second. There we go. It works.
Aguero, where he's at his best century that we'll have in this century.
Go for long wave. Radio 4, that's all you get on long wave. There we go. And whatever that is. Right, so I'll turn the camera charger back on before I lose you now. There we go. Right. So really, there's nothing wrong with this really. Might need the alignment touching up, but other than that, this little radio actually works, and it's just a matter of working out how to get it out of the case. Because I'm gonna clean this because it's got some sort of mess on the circuit board here. I bought some isopropyl, so I'm gonna clean it, and I've got to work out how it comes apart, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Right, so it's I think it comes apart by taking these screws out. Oops. Yeah, that's loose, that. Somebody had to go my radio before me, and I think them screws are screwed straight into the back of the speaker. Anyway, let's find out how right I am. Let's get that washer off there, because it will fall off eventually and I'll lose it. Because I'm actually going to have a go at seeing if I can restore this little fella, because them screws there hold the tuner in, so they don't have to come out. This is going to be some fun. Taking the tuning knob off, that has to come off. And that's your little tuning mark there, that needs polishing up. It's brass. They're brass, them little studs. One will be for long wave, one will be for medium wave, I would have thought. But what I need to do is get this apart. I need to get the tuner off without breaking the knob. And if I can, then I'm going to leave it, because I wonder if you... I seem to remember some of these popped off by taking the screw out of the middle. I don't know. You see, I generally get them under there, or get a tool under there. No, that's not going to come off, that, and it's not lifted at all, so, and it's loose. So I think what I need to do with this, folks, is look at the way the tuning knob, look at the way it actually comes apart, and I need to find out what model it is, and it doesn't tell me. I don't think it doesn't tell me what model it is. It just tells me M500. It's not that. But that's the circuit board number, and in there it just tells you what batteries to use. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at the circuit and see if it should tell you how to dismantle it, because to be perfectly honest, I don't want to break the tuning knob. I don't want to break the tuning control, and I don't want to desolder the tuner either. I mean, let's just undo these screws here, because these don't make adjustments. They only hold the tuner on. So I'm wondering if maybe if I take them out, I mean, they'll go back in, so there's no worries. See if it'll lift off, because the tuner might be wired, and I might be able to get out of taking the tuning knob off, because it might be wired. There, look at that. Shut up! Oh, little dinky tuner down there. Well, there's a little dinky tuner, but that's as far as I can withdraw the board. And there's a couple of capacitors in there I'd like to replace, that electrolytic for a start. And so I'm going to have to, and to get the, yeah, I'm going to have to get the, yeah, it's going to have to, yeah, I'm going to have to get the, what do you call it, feels damp in there as well, like somebody sprayed the tuner with something in the past. But I need to get it off, so I need to look at the diagram on that, because I don't want to break the tuning control. But I don't want to damage it, so I need to have a look, see how they recommend you disassemble it. But you know, that's the little Ferguson that we're going to work on. That's our next project. So I'll leave it there for now. Right, I've just perused the manual, and it says to unscrew the centre trim from the tuning dial. Really? That's what it says. Unscrew the centre trim from the tuning dial to remove the tuning knob. Now who would have thought of that, eh? Look at that. I knew you didn't yank on it, I could tell. There we go, look at that, folks. How about that? Look at that. There we go. And then remove the 3 slotted screws. From the tuner. Where's the other screws? Just put them with them, and then won't lose nothing. Because I am going to have a go at restoring this. But fancy that unscrewing like that. I knew you just didn't yank the knob off. Because it would have come off otherwise. Right, so I'll put that out of the way. Now I should be able to remove and now it says remove. Oh, we've got 3 rubber, there we go. I could have left the speaker intact and all, look. Right, what have we got here? A piece of cardboard which will go back in, and we've got these 3 retainers here which go through the tuner But that's going to be fun putting them back in, isn't it? Never mind, what I'll do, I'll actually super glue them in to here, and then I can, once they're super glued in, I'll super glue them in position, because I know which way round they go by the way they thingied. And that's the battery thing there, that's supposed to be glued. That's supposed to be fastened to there, that's not supposed to move. That's supposed to be there. So that'll be done. This case is all going to get cleaned. And the speaker, for now, I'll leave that as it is, because I'll probably take the speaker off while I clean all the circuitry. But and just that's all it is really. I mean, just show you the case. See, I can straighten all this grill out now. There, I just push back out and be able to sort all that out. Give that all a good straighten. I mean, that's stretch that's been pushed in. Might never get that right, but that's generally the case. That'll all polish up that, I think. That'll come up not too bad. So that's going to get washed and cleaned. Just like not obviously immersed, because it's only cardboard in there. And this is the actual meat and potatoes of it, as I call it. You've got your loudspeaker. I mean, look at this loudspeaker. That's a pretty substantial speaker, considering what gets put in today's crapper phones. You know, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty substantial speaker, that. And let's just check it still works after I was pulling it about. And, yeah. Yeah, it still works. Right. So this is all going to get cleaned, and it'll make, and I'll do some with our battery compartment, probably put a bit of foam or something in there so it takes a PP3 nice and snugly, because a PP7 won't fit, and you can't get a PP6 now. And I'm not even going to attempt to try and get a PP6 or the outsider one. You know, a PP3 will do the job. And after all, the PP3 was primarily designed. His transistor radio battery, it used to have it stamped on there. Transistor radio battery. Anyway. That's all for now, folks, I'm afraid. But I'll get back to you when I start to work on this little fella. But I've got to sort Poochie out first. Got to take scraps for his walk. And as I say, I'm going round the corner in a bit to help a friend out. So probably get onto this later. And anyway, as usual, thank you very much, and you know, for watching. And I don't know whether this will be a 1-part or a 2-part. Probably be a 2-part. I don't know. I'll decide on that when the time's right. To, you know, whether I decide to join them, whether I decide to just leave it and make 2 videos. I don't know. But I think this will turn out be a nice little radio. The handle, the carrying strap's missing. I'm not mired about that. I mean, hey, it was only 50 pence. You know, so that's what we're working on. This is working. It's just, you know, just really, really just to improve matters. I mean, it's, see, you know, I mean, this little thing's even got, if I put my glasses on, you know, this little thing's, it's got 7 transistors and 1 diode in the semiconductor lineup. But look at this here. You've even got a push-pull amplifier. A push-pull in something this big. You know, and but you can tell it's typical Ferguson. But I won't hold that against it. I mean, this thing's older. This thing's probably older than me, and I've not seen the date on the service manual. I've got the manual there on screen, and I've not seen the date. The one I'm looking at on screen, it's got curved buttons instead of flat. So obviously that might have been a different model. But it is the same radio. With respect, it is the same radio, and you'd never guess it. You had to unscrew that off there, would you? You'd never guess you'd have to unscrew that piece of trim, and I thought it pulled off. I'm glad I didn't wreck it. It came off actually nice and easy once you got it turning. It just wound off. But it always pays, like I always say, it always pays to have the manual, because you don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff you just don't know, so it pays to have the manual. Because I can check the alignment, maybe touch up the alignment on this when I've done all the, you know, what should we call it? Should we call it remedial work? For want of a better word, we'll call it remedial work, because it's working, so it's not a repair. It's just mainly a service, a remedial work we'll call it, you know. But once it's done, it should be good then for another, I mean, it probably lasts another 50 years as it is. I mean, stuff was made like that then. I mean, this was made to be serviced, it was made to be repaired, it's not a throwaway item. And back in the 60s, a transistor radio this big was actually a fairly expensive item, because back in the 60s the transistor was still new technology. It was still cutting edge technology back in the 60s, and anything that used them was generally considered to be pretty expensive, I believe. But I don't know how much this did actually retail at new, but I do know things with transistors in them were fairly expensive, because it was new technology, and new technology always costs money. That's a fact. Anyway, before I go, I'll give you a quick look at the circuit board of this little radio. We'll have a quick look, just have a quick look round it, because I don't think I've shown you the actual circuit board, and that's the actual radio itself. Which is, you know, a little small, you know, as I say, it employs 7 transistors and 1 diode. The diode will be for the detector, obviously. And you've got I mean, I can't get over, you know, how substantial and how big that loudspeaker is. I mean, that's something like a 2-inch speaker. No, that's a 2-inch, well, most people do measurements with their thumb. And it's right, it's a 2-inch. That's a 2-inch speaker, and you don't get a 2-inch speaker in today's crapophones. You know, they just don't put that sort of stuff in now. They put shit in them. And you know, the output of this is 200 milliwatts. If I read the specification, I can't see the specs, but from there. But I did actually look at the specs, and I think it said it was 200 milliwatts. Which is enough, you know. It's enough. That's enough for a little radio like this. I mean, this is designed, I won't say it's designed to fit in your pocket, but you know, it's designed, you know, Ferguson called it a personal portable radio, personal portable receiver, according to the manual. So, you know, anyway, join me again when I actually, be a bit later on, join me again when I perform the service, and we'll get things moving on this. And I've got a load of new components. I've took delivery of a load of new capacitors and stuff the other day, and we can do a recap, especially in the audio section on this, because you know, especially the electrolytics, especially this red and yellow one, red and black one here. We'll do yellow paper around it. The Plessy one, they're generally known for failing, and I'll swap these out as well, these 4 here, they'll get swapped out for new ones. I'll put new ones in, and that should improve performance. And I'll also get the generator on, and we'll have a look at the alignment and see if we can do anything. See if the alignment needs to be touched up at all. I'm hoping it doesn't, because I'd rather not disturb it. But you know, to get the best performance, I mean, then you know, if you want the best performance, then it has to be done, doesn't it? But you know, this is working. You know, as I say, it's not a repair video. This more of a remedial sort of service video. You know, just to aid in its reliability, really. I mean, I'm hoping that once I've done this, I won't have to come near it again, and next time it needs doing, I'll probably be dead. So we'll see how we go on, and I will actually mention the model number for this. If people, if you need to find the circuit, I think it's a 385 BT. It's a 385 BT. I'll just go quickly, just check that for you now, and then you'll know what the model is. Mine's son. There you go. Go in a minute. Let me just check this. I'll just change seats, because obviously you can still hear me. Right, so we'll go scroll up to it's a 358, sorry, not a 385. 358 BT. Yeah, 358 BT. Ferguson personal portable receiver. It doesn't seem to say when it was made, and Ferguson is a registered trademark of Thorn Electrical Industries, so they were taken over by Thorn by the time this was made. So that would make it BRC, really, I would think. Loudspeaker 3.5 inches in diameter, so it's not a 2 inch. It's 3.5 inches in diameter. It's a 3.5 inch loudspeaker. 35 ohm speech coil impedance. Wow, that's high. Power output 200 milliwatt. Case simulated hide. 7 and 5/8 inches long and 4 1/4 inches wide. And yeah, you get the message. Replacement of the capacitors, resistors, and on the printed panel should be, where possible, made by cutting away the component to enable replacement to be soldered to the original lead wires. With this method, it is impossible to. Have you heard that, folks? Replacement. I'll read this again. Have you heard that? Replacement of the capacitors and resistors on the printed panel should be, where possible, be made by cutting. But they're telling the service engineer to cut the components off the board. We don't do that. No, we don't do that. We take them off at the back. It's done. Replacement, yeah. Should the output stage fail to operate, check first the switch associated with the headphone jack. Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you? Check that first. But, you know, fancy it telling you to cut the components out instead of. You can't cut them capacitors out. You've got to desolder them. Because you can't get underneath them for some of them. You can't get underneath them for a start. You know, I don't know who writes these manuals. But you know, fancy saying that. Chop the components, yeah. Just get a pair of scissors in there, and this is the alignment procedure, which we won't go through now. Anyway, I'm gonna I'm going to stop it there for now, and we'll come back to it in a bit, folks. Thanks for watching. Right, here we go. I'll start by desoldering the speaker. It's out of the way then. We don't risk of any problems of breaking the speaker wires and stuff, or even damaging the speaker itself. So what we'll do, we'll desolder the speaker, move the battery clip out of the way so it always gets in your way, doesn't it? It's the speaker off, the one wire of it. There we go. And the black goes to the pin bent down and the blue goes to the pin bent up. Right, so we'll put the speaker up here and it's out of the way. Now what I need to do is get the little paintbrush and give it a good dusting out. Right, we've got the right amount of capacitors. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5. See, it tells you to snip the wires off the components, but how the fucking hell can you do that? Yeah, right, okay. There's a bit of crap on there, I'm not happy with that. Probably all flux. But let's just see. Yeah. Just making sure there's no corrosion on it, really. You know, and make sure there's no corrosion, really. We've got this sticky, gooey stuff. And what we'll do, after I've replaced the components, we'll give the board a good clean. But anyway, to start with, we've got 1/8 microfarad capacitor and 4 100 microfarad capacitors. So all these here are all 100 mic. The only one that isn't, I presume, is that little Plessy one there. Anyway, we'll start with, is the sucker hot enough? I tell you what, one of the best things I ever bought, or it feels it, one of the best things I ever bought, folks, was this electric sucker. Might not be up to temperature yet. It is. The only thing is though, it tends to splatter a little bit. There we go. it does tend to splatter a bit, and you know, that's the only problem with it really, but other than that, there we go. I always give it a couple of pumps, and also I like to there we go, just give it a few, just blast all the crap out, you see. Now so yeah, that's a bit crappy, that we've got some crap coming out of that. So positive goes there, negative there, so keep the orientation in mind. And you keep the orientation in mind when you're putting new ones in. I don't bend them fully over just in case at some point I have to replace it. Let's just double check. I always like to double check that I've put the damn thing in correct the right way around. I always double check because it doesn't hurt. There we go. And it is, so we're satisfied. We can now just get the work under there so you can see. And then we do neatly solder. There we go. Neatly solder the new component in. There we go. Now where's my wire cutters? Where's my clippers? Bear with me, folks. There they are. I've got a set on here. The set I really wanted, and the set that's in the dining room, because I was using them last night. But these ones are equally as good. They'll do the job. So. And what I'll do, as always, I'll keep that because I'll test it in a minute. When I've done the repair, I'll test it to find out the rod aerials come out of its locating thing as well. Right. So the next one is that one. I'll tell you what. Yeah, they're not very yeah, they're a bit crap. These capacitors are, these old capacitors are a bit crap. But what we do is we save all those and we test them, and yep, that's right. Now, let's turn that round, I can solder it better. It's better. Oops. There we go. Nearly fell out. In. Right. Now, keep that because it'll be saved for testing, for checking to make sure. Now the next one we will do is, it's underneath that piece of tape. Oh, look at that. The battery connector, negative of the battery connector has come off. Look at that. Negative of the battery connector has actually fell off. How about that, eh? That weren't soldered on too well, was it? Now, let's... Right. Whoops. My solder sucker nearly rolled off. That's a bit swollen. No matter, it'll be replaced. Clean it around it, there we go. And we'll solder the battery lead back on as well. Battery lead coming off. That piece of tape. You mind how can you see what I'm doing? There we go. I need to find my solder sponge. Now just connect the battery wire, the negative one. It's all tangled up, look at that. Like a monkey's breakfast. Let's untangle all that. Don't know, somebody at some point must have thought it was a good idea to tangle the battery wire. I didn't. There we go. Give it a twist or two. Now, melt some solder onto it. Give it a bit of a tin. There we go. Cut that down, I don't need it that long. I'll do. just chop these two, and I'll actually make sure it has actually come off from there by simply connecting the battery. It was under that tape and I don't really, and to be honest I'm not completely sure. Oh, I can the speaker's disconnected? Yeah, I can. I just want to make doubly sure that the battery came off there. So if I just run, where's the, oh, that's the battery lead. So the battery went to here, negative side of it. Yeah, that interference is just from my camcorder, but there we go. Let's just there we go. I actually put that battery connection on the wrong, what do you call it, wrong capacitor, but it still worked because obviously it was going to negative. Let's just check. Yeah, that's good enough. Take the battery off. Put it back. Put the battery back there. Put the speaker back there out of the way. Now that's dirty. I don't think that table was sticky enough to go back on, but yeah, it has. Now the next one is this one here. Don't know why they tell you to cut them out. I mean, that's bad practice. I mean, it's bad practice to cut them out. The only time I do it, right, the only time I cut them out is when the new leads from a new one won't reach. That's the only time I cut them out. Other than that, I don't. Which this one. This one could be an issue. Let's hold it like that for a minute. the leg over. There we go. And oh no, we're okay. We're in. We are in, as they say. Oh, if I put it right way in. Yeah. Yeah. Typical United Kingdom again, folks. It's pissing down. I'm going to have to super glue that aerial. Right, so we're there now. And the next one is the last one to be done. And this is I know I've not snipped down wires yet, I'll do it in a minute. This one deals with the AGC. It's difficult to see. I can understand why they say cut these, some of them, but Jesus. Right. So it's just, I think it's there. No, it ain't. That one. Come on, one of them. That one. So, got to do them other joints. And the other one should be there. I think that's right. I don't like it when they're like that packed in. So the negative goes there. I like to make sure I get things right. Because I mean, it's probably okay, this capacitor, because it was tuning and working actually okay, but since I'm here, and this is the 8 microfarad one, 6 volts DC working, 8 microfarad, I bet that's dry as fuck, but it's as dry as a bone, that bastard. Let's pull a bit of solder off the roll. I don't like holding the roll in my hand, it's just, I just don't find it comfortable holding the roll. Now let's solder this capacitor into place. And then let's do these joints. I actually did by mistake. It's a transformer, that. Oops. One, and then that one there. There was only 2 of these soldered by mistake. We all make mistakes, and these sort of things happen. Now where's that other wire? The other one wasn't long enough, it's there. Now let's put the speaker back on. I'll solder the speaker back on. There we go, it's the speaker soldered back on. Let's turn it off, put the battery on. Let's tighten that connector. That's better. There we go. Now let's turn the camera power supply off. Now let's go for clip that aerial back into place. It keeps falling out. That needs to be drop a blob of glue on that.
It's just for the media, but Manchester City. When we played, obviously went there and. So he's the same with his comments, and certainly when it comes to his manager. West Indies. Splice at the bat, a simple catch. It means the Windies lead now by. West Indies 177 for 9.
We never know with this test. Matchday ride on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. Don't miss West Ham versus Huddersfield Town on Monday Night Football. Live on the new dedicated Sky Sports Premier League channel. A beautiful game, a 90-minute rollercoaster ride of emotions. You can watch it and you can get involved in it with the latest choral action.
Get a free £10 in-play bet on the Stoke Man United match if your first £10 in-play bet fails to win.
Get ready for kickoff. Download the Coral app today. Available from App Store and now Google Play. Coral, jump in.
Available to 18 plus online and mobile customers. Free bet closing within 24 hours. Valid for 48 hours. Single bet only.
The speaker sounds a bit rattly. See if it's any shit that's on it.
Was he okay just getting game time off the bench? Is it a problem if he isn't starting for Everton?
Well, it's competitive in there, you know, they spent a lot of money.
Let's see how much power's in my battery, because it's getting these other batteries. See how much is in that one. But I think the battery might be going a bit down. 8 point something volts in that one. How much is in this one to load? 7 volts. Yeah, I think I think you could do the. I think you could do the new speaker.
Hits of all time, non-stop.
Gold's Music Marathon.
Yeah. They'll just get one of the test speakers out if I can fucking put my hands on them. I know. Oh, can't get to that. I know what I'll do. Right. So what we'll do, yeah, it's a bit distorted that, so let's look into it. Right. Turn it down, I'll get pulled up on a bloody copyright strike. Right. Right, so find the right one. That one. Right.
Such Virgin Media foot. £16.5 million lotto jackpot. What would you get your mum if you won?
Somewhere where she could just make stuff, and she loves getting a drill out. She's like, I've got a drill, what can I drill? So, you know, a massive drill set in those workshops, and she'd be happy as Larry.
Lotto. Who wins if you win? Estimated jackpot rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over. The no-repeat guarantee is the backbone of Absolute Radio. It is the rock we have built our house upon. It states that we shall never play a single song more than once between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. But we have to spend all our marketing budget. We're going to break it on purpose. And if you're the one to spot it, call the...
Well, that's made a big improvement.
1, 2, 3, 12, 15, because you could win a grand.
Yeah. Pardon me, folks, I dropped my tool. Right. Now, Tahoe.
Where the greatest hits live.
This is
Key 2.
the greatest hits.
The greatest hits. Chelsea really good.
Right, well that's as clear as I can get.
I mean, that is embarrassing.
I've done an alignment, sort of, by ear really, and it's as good as you can expect.
Best league in the world. Well, Casino, I believe it's best league in the world.
It's as good as you can expect from a small portable radio. I mean, it's...
Packing boots. For the year mates of the Welsh side, though, last year they had 5 points.
Impressive 2-0 win at Ipswich just before the international break.
The team's then have got to make 4 changes from their win.
No, you got ladies' names. That's an easy one.
Go drift. You've gone one.
So 2-1 to me, yeah, okay. 2-1 to me. Oh,
I'll take the hit on that one.
You've got a little bit of anger there, Matt.
I'll take the hit.
No, let's talk about it.
Come back. I'm just looking at the Fast and Furious films. So they do seem to have numbers next to them.
Matt,
I
we're
mean,
going to clip together the last 2 weeks, and all the times you've won or lost,
Right.
it does give us an insight into your psyche, and your arrogance and
maybe
anger.
I'm slightly competitive.
You are. What's the most competitive thing you've ever done? Have you?
Well, that's the circuit sorted out. The electronic side of it. It's working as good as what you could probably get. Now let's find this stuff that I dropped on the floor a minute ago. I knocked something on the floor a minute ago. I mean, there's loads of stuff on the bloody floor. But something I need. I mean, specifically. There it is. My new thing for me. Gram deck. I'm going to have to sort this workshop out. But having said that, you know, I could actually make... But having said that, I could actually make a pressure pad. Oh, that rain's really hammering down. Mind you, I'll wash the fucking egg off the fucking windows that some little bastards threw at them the other night. It's only trouble over here, where I live. It's full of fucking delinquent children. You know, whose parents obviously don't give a shit. And I reckon that this is the same as this. It's the same stuff. So let me just try something. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it now, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut, because that's an half moon and that's an half moon, that can be cut to an half moon. I'm actually going to see if I can make a replacement. I don't need one, that's a brand new one. Just put that up there. Let's turn the sucker off. I don't need that on now. Turn the soldering iron off. I don't need that, I don't think. It eats up fast enough anyway, so I'll turn it off. But yeah, I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to try and see if I can make one of those pressure pads as well. Just for shits and giggles, really. Right, so now let's get the stuff off the top of this and put it there for a minute, because I want to test these capacitors and see how they test. I'll knock one of my new transistors off onto the floor and all. I'll pick that up in a minute. Be down there somewhere. Let's move this gram deck controller. I can put that there for now. Right, so the radio is working better than what it was, obviously. Changing some of the components has improved. I mean, these capacitors were old and they needed to be changed anyway. So, you know, they had been in there for years, and there's one or two of them have got guns coming out. I bet they're still reading tolerance though. But it's under load where it counts, I think. Right, well that reads 135 microfarad, and its ESR is its ESR is 1.18 ohms. So rubbish. I'm interested to know about this Plessy one, because these are usually fucked. These are usually knackered. You buy now, but we'll see. 9.86 is 16 ohms, 16.7 ohms. Yeah, that's really high. That. I mean, really, you want no ESR if you can help it, but you know. That one's ESR is 0.79 ohms and 125.4 microfarad. Based on the fact that these are 100 microfarad capacitors, all except the Plessy, the red and black one, which is the Plessy one. That's 8 microfarad. I replaced it with a 10. And these are that's 69. 0.69 ohm, and it's reading 125.2 microfarad. Bearing in mind that they're all 100 microfarad then, so they're all the same capacitor really. And that one's reading 0.76 ohms and 141.6 microfarad. So yeah, I think it's fair to say the capacitors needed to be changed in there, and you know, I don't usually do a full recap unless it's necessary. Well, I've not done a full recap. I've only changed the electrolytics, and there for the dustbin. And let's mount the speaker back onto where it belongs. See, because that's as much as I'm going to do with it, because it's not designed to be a terribly loud radio. It's no powerhouse. 200 milliwatts. I mean, but it's good enough. It's designed just to be used I mean, back in the day, when this little radio was produced, when it was manufactured, the manufacturers were honest about the specs of their radios. You know, like nowadays, if this was made today and it came out of China, they'd give you a power output figure of about 500 watts, you know. But back then they were honest about the performance and the output power.
Latest movies in Sky Store now and get a £5.99 Sky Store voucher when you collect 4 Nestle sharing bags.
UK and Republic of Ireland 18 plus. Latest movies £13.99. Closes September 30th, 2018. Promotion and Sky Store terms apply.
Rock, roll, and plenty of goals. This is rock and roll football on Absolute Radio.
The greatest of all time. Non-stop.
The Music Marathon. £66.50. See how the reaction to the game is underway. We are 12 minutes away from kick-off here.
Three slot, the number 5.
Let's try a long wave.
The exact opposite. Batsman gets away, a couple of decent boundaries, and then they speed along. It looks like the latter.
That's it. That's all you get on there is Radio 4. There you go. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the performance of the circuit. Make sure I don't lose none of this. There's a little doofer there. Make sure I don't lose none of this. So I'll pop it all back onto there. And the next job is to refurbish the case. So I'll come back when I've done that. It's just going to be a bit of a polish and a wipe, really. You know, just try and polish this metal work up here and polish the studs and stuff. Just really just tidy the case up, I think. You know, and try and, I mean, one of them fastened before, but now none of them do. So I'll have to look at those. One of them did fasten. But there again, it's probably because I mean, old age just crept up on this radio, but I mean, that probably needs to come out and be re-glued. That grill, that needs to. I'm probably going to have to do a bit of work on this case to sort of like try and sort it out a bit. Maybe take the grill out, because it's starting to lift anyway, so might not be a job that gets done today, just because I need to buy some glue. See, this will actually lift out, so just try and sort it out, really. I mean, give it a bit of a polish up and stuff, try and make it look a bit neater. But that's where we are now anyway, folks. The, you know, circuit wise it's okay. Electronically I'd say it's okay. It's, you know, it's usable. It's all assembled again. I've just got to put it back in the case, but I want to sort of try and tighten the case up a bit to make it look a bit better. But that's all for now, folks, and thank you very much for watching, and more to come later. Bye for now. Hello, welcome back, and we're still on the little Ferguson radio, but this time on the cabinet. Going to try and do something with this. I don't promise a whole lot with it though, but just tilt this up a bit. There we go. There we go. I can see. That's it. I can see you better now. Let's zoom out a bit. Oops. That do. Right, now, what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and polish this and see. I mean, there is an old saying you can't polish a turd, but we'll see. See if we can make it a little bit better than what it actually is. Because, I mean, the cabinet itself is not really too bad. I mean, I've seen worse. And I've also restored worse as well. So, I've not washed the cabinet yet. Reason for that is I want to polish it first. Then I can wash it. But I might have to give this. Might have to give this a rub over with the sandpaper, you know, first. Very, very fine. Because it has a varnish on it. And it is actually coming up. It's actually starting to shine that again. See, I'm not expecting this to look like new, but a little bit cleaner would be nice. Well, that's better than what it was. It is actually pitted, so let me just try and find the little sanding block I was using. We used a little sanding block last night to do another job. There it is. And this is very, very, very... Just bang some of the dust off it. This has already been used, this. This is an old block which has been used. An old pad that's been used, so it shouldn't be too severe on it. Is there any way I can get that out? That way, and that way gently, and off she comes. There we go, popped it out, and that will now allow me to clean it. Just be careful don't bend it, or worse, snap those two tangs off. Because if I snap them tangs off, it's game over. And that I'll tell you what, you know, it's not bad, that's coming up. Because this is... Hey Charlie! I'm not too bad, man. Yeah, one of my many friends, that was. That's why I had to stop the video to take the call. Yeah, anyway, never mind. Right, I want to find some way. I mean, I don't expect to get this mint, I'm not even trying to, it's just get it better than what it was, so it looks better than what it was. Oops, I don't want to snap that pin off, I'll do it this way. There we go, and do this side. I mean, this is not really worth them either, but you know, it's just get it a bit looking a bit better. I don't have to bother too much about the underside. Do the edges. That's bent a bit. Ooh, let's get the pliers and straighten that. That when I pushed it in that. Then let's just straighten that because I don't want that snapping off. I could probably solder that back on if I had to, but why do I want to give myself extra work? Right. And the good thing about these pliers is there's no cutting blade on them. So you can get right to the edge there and that's it. We're straight. Now give this a final rub because we've got some marks on the top there now. We didn't have them there a minute ago. There we go, look at that. Got a mark there, I didn't have that there a minute ago. Get off. There we go. It's a bit pitted, but I'm sure you'll agree it's a lot better than what it was. Now we'll get it polished, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the press studs on the back because one of them doesn't work. I mean, these had a layer of varnish on them and all to keep them bright, but it's the varnish that goes off. It's the varnish that goes off and causes the problems. Right, put that there for now, out of the way. Now let's have a look at the sockets on the back. Can I get them off? No, they're fitted on. Put that in there, give it a good turn, clean all the socket up. So that needs to be, there we go. But I mean, it'll never look like new. Just want it to look presentable. You know. See, look at this here, it's just crap, you see, it's just that old varnish. You think it's all tarnished and fucked and there's good brass on this, all brass these fittings. Look at that. You think it's all fucked, but it's not. All it is just old metal, old varnish rather. All it is, it's just old varnish that's got onto, that was pasted on it all them years ago. I want us to try and sort these press studs out. Let me just try and push a screwdriver through there to hold it, and then see if I can. Oh, that one's locked in. But it would be nice if I could sort them out so they actually work. And that one works as well, so they do work. It's just the, what do you call it really? So they do work. It does lock. Yeah, it does lock. It's just the, what do you call it really? I mean, put some sort of support in there. I need to put a bit of glue there because that's supposed to be glued. So that needs to be done. It needs a good polish, this case, and that's what it's going to get now. So if I lock that back down again, make it easier for me to polish it. There we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to clean it with a metal polish, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because it'll lift all the shit. I think it will. I mean, probably those of you thinking, well, you shouldn't clean the case with metal polish. Well, so what? It's my case. Look at that. It's lifting the crap off. I'll give it a wash with proper stuff afterwards. Got all the crap that's coming off that. I mean, the metal polish won't do it any harm. Right, and they're two brass things as well. Oh no, they're not brass then. Still, they're not supposed to be rusty either. No, they're just metal. They're just metal. Better just tax them. But I'll polish them up anyway. And that now all I do is just rub the polish off it. Whoops. Well, that's coming up lovely, that. Yeah. I mean, the grill's a bit wobbly and wibbly, but there's nothing I can do about that. There we go. There we go, look at that. Oh, and the buttons on the back are nice and bright. The sockets are nice and bright. There we go. Alright, they made out of cardboard, these. I mean, if you were stuck for a case, you could make this. You know, if you were stuck for a case, you could actually make this, no problem. But that needs gluing back up there, so that'll need to be done. But that can be done one of the last jobs. And what we're doing now, I'm not going to test the chassis. I shouldn't have to. It was repaired, it was serviced, and just want to clean the buttons. I mean, put the right. Oops. Let's just sort this out. That aerial shouldn't be pushing on that there. Yeah, oh, the aerial goes that way. That's it, I was pushing it the wrong way. There we go. That's the aerial back as it should be, and that end goes under there. And the chassis, oh hang on, gotta put the metal trim back in, haven't I? Nearly forgot there, folks. Just making sure to turn the candy hand back on, or handy cam if you like. Make sure I put this trim in the right way, which is that way, yeah. There we go. Let's bend them tangs back to where they should be. There we go, look at that. I hope I put it the right way, I should have done. Can't see why I would get it wrong at this stage of the game. Right, and the aerial, that cover goes over the aerial. Now, and the chassis. Oh, hang on, I forgot those, what do you call it? Nearly forgot. I've got to polish that up as well. So let's see about reassembling. So I would imagine that goes. on the back. Yeah, and that way the tuner can't go too far back. And that plate goes there. Oh, yeah, that's right. That little plate goes there. And these goes on the outside, that. It goes on the outside. Right, so, and these they're threaded. I didn't think they were, so generally you poke that through there. Oops. Right into there. Oh, they just go for it, oh yeah. Ah. Now that's a nice idea, that. I like that very much. I thought I was going to have to piss about, but no. Seems like I never had to take those screws out in the first place. Yeah. Do you know, back then they used to think of everything, didn't they? You know. You've just got to give, haven't you? You know, look at that, it's gone in there. I don't have to piss about. You've just got to give Ferguson top marks for that, haven't you? You know, you really have. You've got to give them top marks for that. And basically, the tuner will sit on the top of that. And then screw, obviously it'll screw in. And the loudspeaker's already screwed in. So slip that under there. For the aerial. and then slip that. Oops, the buttons need to go in through there along with volume control. And that. Now, let's see. How easy it will be to, right, the sockets are lined up. How about that, folks? Alright, so just make sure don't overdo it. Snug will do. There we go. Tuner's back in and it's all lined up. Right, let's put the top on. Well, that goes over there. Like that, then that goes on there. And then we've got this bit here which has to be polished, but it has to be sanded first. So I'm going to try and stick it down a hole in the bench. There we go. People wonder why I have holes in my bench. That's exactly why. So I can do jobs like that. Now let's get the metal polish. Polish the trim. The decorative trim piece as they call it. There we go. And give it a good buff. Now this is plastic, so I'm not going to buff this. I'm just going to wipe that with a cloth. Let's put the top back on the polish. We don't want any accidents, do we? We bloody don't. Right, don't metal polish all over the bench. Right. So now I'm going to that's upside down. And that's the right way. Put the little cap on. There we go. I need to still glue that, but that can come after. Right. Could do the fresh battery, but let's pop a battery in. That battery contact is a bit. Tighten the battery contact up a bit. Right, pop that in there. It's not a PP6, but it will do. It's one connected on. See, that pushes down, you see, and you can't get the thing in. There we go. And that's it. There, it popped open. Well, it didn't pop open before I assembled it, so Yeah, see if it stays shut now. There we go. As I say, I don't expect it to be mint. It's never gonna be. It's an old radio, but there we go. I know the grill's a bit knackered, but there's nothing I can do about that. All the sockets are nice and clean. I know what you lot want. You lot want to hear it. The bloody camera might go off now. Here we go.
And having come up against these teams in the past, particularly when Liverpool, they've always got good structure and always know their jobs in the team.
Castle 5 Live Sport. If it's a rugby you're after this afternoon, Worcester 0, Wasps 10. That one's on 5 Live. On 5 Live Sport.
That's medium wave. Now, and it said FM, then long wave.
But there was something else. Something about Jamila.
There we go, Radio 4. That's all you get on there.
This is Key 2.
Key 2. The greatest hits for Manchester.
There you go, folks. The little small Ferguson 385, I think it is, BT transistor radio is recapped and realigned, and it works absolutely brilliantly. And yeah, I'm going to leave the battery in because I'm going to play this. I'm going to listen to it because I like old stuff, and the case has come up nice and clean, even though I use metal polish. It's actually not bad. I am very, very pleased, and it's a shame about the writing on the buttons, but hey, we can't have everything. Anyway, folks, I'd like to thank you once again for watching. I'm not showing you my face because I've not had a shave. I'd like to thank you once again for watching, and I appreciate you watching. I appreciate it when you like the videos, and you know, what more can I say? Thanks, folks, and there'll be more to come later. Bye for now.